topsy-turvy, and you isn't what you were.
When the love bug smites, you shake in disbelief.
Your head gets all balloony.
With humongous hairy teeth.
When the smitten bites, you make blibberin' blabberin' sounds. You get all googly-woogly.
Smashing, crashing all around.
When the light takes flight, you go screaming through the wood. I'm not quite sure what happens, but it can't be very good.
When the love bug bites.
Look, look. It's him. Him's it. I mean, follow that smitten.
Oh, dear!
Oh, here it. Mother. No, there he is. Oh, I almost. Oh, there.
Now, Pooh Bear, wait! Don't go running off and... Oh, my! No! This way, everyone!
But which way is this way? That way is this way.
No way! It's that way!
The one thing we know is nobody knows.
Oh, I have it. Now Christopher Robin will be quite all right. Look, Piglet. Rabbit. Tigger. Gopher. Eeyore. Anyone? Bother.
We'll be right back to Winnie the Pooh and Friends following these messages.
Hello? Hello? No, if only Christopher Robin were here to show us the way, but he is not. And I'm afraid we are very lost.
Don't worry, Piglet, old pal. We'll find our way. Just keep a tight hold of...
What was that?
Being all by their lonely lonesomes is not something Tiggers like best. Wow! Oh, my.
Just look at it, a winking and a blinking.
It is a smitten, isn't it? Oh, whatever it is, it brought us out of the dark and back together.
Yep, the smitten shining its light on all of us.
He certainly is.
And now we can get this back to Christopher Robin so Christopher Robin can get back to being Christopher Robin.
And then he can get back to being with us.
I've been looking everywhere. Where have you all been?
Where haven't we been? Go on, Pooh. Debug the boy.
Pooh,
Oh, yes, Christopher.
there's something I wanted to show you. All of you.
Go on, Buddy Bear. Let him have it.
I made this card for a friend. A new friend. And I wonder, what do you think of it?
Oh, it's very nice indeed.
Do you suppose she'll like it?
Oh, certainly. No doubt.
You betcha.
Yep.
I am most sure of it.
Oh, I'm awfully glad to hear that.
Well, what are you waiting for? Pooh Bear, no!
How are we ever going to get the kid back to his old self?
Oh, why did you let it go? Because Christopher Robin is happy as he is. And I shouldn't want it any other way. This is the saddest happy Valentine's I can recall.
What have we here?
Z, X, L, Q, M. Yep, yes, sirree. It's for me.
Oh, what's this?
Look at this. For little old me.
Mistake, no doubt.
Christopher Robin! It's a card from you. Is it really for me, Christopher?
It really is.
But
But what, Pooh?
but we thought you found a new friend.
Oh, Pooh.
There's a place right here, and it's really rather small. But this rather small place knows the grandest thing of all. It knows when understanding can be hard to understand. It knows that words aren't needed when you take somebody's hand.
Like mine?
It knows that you are with me in everything I do. It's that special corner of my heart, the place that I call Pooh.
Oh, Christopher.
There are places in the heart that always know a friend. In good and glad and sad times, the heart remembers them. There are new friends yet to meet. There's a place for them to start, but old friends always keep there. the heart.
Old friends like
Us. Oh, Pooh. I care just as much about you as I always have.
Yes, I thought that too. Still, it's very nice to hear it said.
Silly old bear.
There are places in the heart that always know a friend. In good and glad and sad times, the heart remembers them. There are new friends yet to meet. There's a place for them to start. But old friends always keep their places in the heart.
I love you, Pooh.
And so as winter changes into spring, which changes into summer, there are things which go on forever unchanging. Such is the way a certain boy cares for a certain bear. And we will know, for as long as we care to remember, that somewhere in that enchanted place on top of the forest, a boy and his bear will always be playing.
Nothing but stewed vegetables for 3 months. 3 months! we gotta find us a porcupine.
We'll be right back with the broadcast.
Say, Pluto, you want to fetch the paper? Attaboy, Pluto! Yeah! Yum bum bum brum bum bum brum bum bum bum.
Hello?
Hiya, Minnie. You ready for our big date?
I sure am. And don't you be late this time.
Aw, don't worry. I'll be right over. Oh, boy. Come on, you old bucket of bolts. You're gonna make me late. Oh, that's just swell. Flat tires, dented fenders, and now look, oil on my shoe. I can't take Minnie on a date in a broken old jalopy. What am I gonna do?
Has your old car left you stranded on the way to your big date?
Uh-huh.
With flat tires, dented fenders, Even oil on your shoe?
It sure has.
Then why not trade in that broken old jalopy for a new and improved new car?
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Get myself a new car. Wow, this car's a lot better than my old one. And look at all the gadgets. Surround sound. Salon-o-matic. Oops. Guess that's for Minnie. Hey, looky here. It's a convertible, too. That's not right. Automatic. Roof. Good air conditioning. Destination. Oh boy, time to pick up Minnie. And let's make it snappy. A dime stopped on it. Oh gosh, I'm late for my date. Come on, get going. What's wrong with you? Afternoon, Bert. Now, don't you go saying anything, because I know what you're thinking. What I need a new car for when my old car was perfectly A-okay, huh? Well, it wasn't A-okay, I tell you. I couldn't take Minnie on a date in that old thing, and this car's better, so I don't want to hear another word out of you. Electric. Don't get up. Aha! Here's one. I've had about enough of you. Now let me drive. Uh-oh. Idea. Well, you can't drive without a driver. I can always get my old car back. Well, you may have been an old bucket of bolts, but heck, you were one swell old bucket of bolts. Huh? Minnie! You bought my old car?
I sure did. Are you ready for a big date?
Oh, you betcha!
And now, these messages. From
Do you have a flush, Diane? Okay, and the only thing you're allergic to is codeine, right? Okay, we're going to give you some medicine here. Yep.
There's a couple of them, right? You don't do too many.
Okay, and that's going to make you a little bit sleepy, okay? The orthopedic doctor's going to come take a look at your leg here.
She's got transverse fractures of the tibia and fibula, and you can see the fracture ends override a little bit and that they overlap. And then you can also see on this film that the fragments are what we call angulated or distorted. And so she's got a fracture that may require surgery to repair that, and Dr. Grover is going to take care of that for her.
We're going to like lift this up as soon as he gets back.
And pull this
in. We're going to pull this out. Okay?
Okay.
She's in a lot of pain, I think, because of the deformity, so we reduced the fracture and splinted the leg. I think she'll be a lot more comfortable now. Now, that is not really, I mean, it's not the definitive treatment, of course. We're going to take her to the operating room and fix the bone by putting in an intramedullary rod inside the tibia. It's like an internal splint. Try and
Got it? You want some towels? Yeah. She was extremely uncomfortable. She's got obvious deformity of her leg there, so I imagine she is hurting, yes.
Meantime, across the country at Tampa General Hospital, emergency and trauma teams await another case.
We're expecting to get in approximately a 60-year-old lady that was in a parking lot this afternoon around 2:30, 3 o'clock, and was struck by a van. And the report that we got was that she had a dislocated hip. She may have a pelvic fracture, which can cause a lot of bleeding and cause shock. She may have intra-abdominal injuries that we don't know about. It's a very serious case.
Her blood pressure was in the 60s. She was on many medications. We were infusing red blood cells to try to increase her volume. The details for us were kind of sketchy, but apparently she was trying to get out of the way of a slow-moving van and actually was struck on the side and then was run over by this van.
She's got a large right lateral flank area hematoma. 1, 2, 3.
What number is this blood?
This is second.
This is the second. We just spiked it on pressure.
Okay.
Did you empty urine?
Hello.
No, that's all we put out.
Since they
Hello. Yeah. Hi. My name's Dr. Crumbly.
Thank you. We're getting close to being done with the dope here.
Yeah,
The tire came across you right there, the whole thing. Okay.
She's got distal pulses. They are very faint.
This patient was being transferred from an outside community hospital. They were having trouble keeping her pressure up. Whenever somebody's hypotensive or has low blood pressure, we always consider bleeding. And the question is, she had no external signs of bleeding, so we wanted to know where the blood was going.
Okay, should we do the other ones in the room?
Secondary
Is that what you mean? Or do you want all the portably?
Portably.
Okay. What's her heart rate? It's pending.
You know when your last tetanus shot was?
She's required a lot of fluid to maintain her blood pressures above 90 systolic, and that's kind of where we want to keep it. Her blood pressure dropped into the 70s at times. She's now on her second unit of blood. Means that there is some significant hemorrhage going on.
You know, her arms really aren't that big. Yeah, I think it's probably adequate. Yeah. Yeah. She probably took off a little of the rim of the acetabulum right there when it got knocked posteriorly. The hip itself, besides being dislocated, though, looks okay. Yeah.
Little stick here, hon. Sorry.
Now what the surgeon's going to do is what's called a DPL, a diagnostic peritoneal lavage, where they will actually make an incision just above the umbilicus and enter the abdominal cavity and put a catheter down there, see what the return is. Maybe grossly bloody may be the cause for her being in shock, and then she would go straight on to the operating room.
Can you get another pressure, please? What other injuries do you know? Wait, sir. Can I have a GPL catheter, please? Can I have a GPL catheter? How much pressure, seriously?
This is her second unit.
Hang in there.
That left though.
Right, so from here.
The right one?
If you see a little bit.
Oh, good. You found statement.
Sorry, ma'am. I'm going to fix some pressure in your belly, ma'am.
100%. Keep your arm down, sweetie. Keep your arm down.
They can get the pressure. They can
help him? Needle up on the...
Where did they do this?
Let me just go ahead.
Anytime you have a dislocation or a pelvic fracture, any pelvic injuries, we're always concerned about the vascular supply to the legs. The femoral vessels come down from the aorta and turn into the iliac arteries and then down into the femoral arteries and veins. And what we want to do is make sure that she has good blood flow to the feet. So what I was using was this handheld Doppler, which is it's like a small ultrasound, and it can actually pick up the signals in the blood vessels themselves. And what I do is I just go over the dorsum of the foot until I find a good pulse, and that will tell me that she's got good blood flow to the feet, and she did on both feet.
The patient's condition progresses, and she later is released from the hospital due to the professional care she received at Tampa General Hospital. Hard-working emergency workers, always ready to help when we need them. Next up, a giant gas tanker rolls over and explodes in flames.
Introducing Rapid Driver, the most amazing tool ever. This monster would twist your wrist off the old way. With Rapid Driver, just pull the trigger and it powers it in so fast and easy. Push button. Rapid Driver now works in reverse. No batteries, no electricity. This is Rapid Driver. This is a cordless tool. Watch this. Rapid Driver works twice as fast as the cordless tool. Isn't that amazing? Rapid Driver works in all those difficult places with the greatest of ease. Work above your head without breaking your back. Interchange with socket adapter. Use this incredible Rapid Driver to power in nuts and bolts, or push button and it works in reverse. Rapid Driver, a must for every handyman. This amazing tool even works as a ratchet. Comes with a 5-year warranty and carrying case. Rapid Driver, complete with 6 interchangeable screwdrivers, 4 sockets, socket adapter, and carrying case. A 12-piece set for only $19.95 from K-Tel.
Available at participating Canadian Tires, Zellers, Walmart, The Bay, Kmart, Home Hardware, Pro Hardware, Novaco.
Paul doesn't want Lisa walking Murray anymore.
Why? Because every time she does this, he leaves here stupid, but he comes back depressed.
And this time, he'll really wish that she didn't.
I can't believe you got the wrong dog. I think it's a pretty good match.
Paul says there's nothing like the real thing.
If I vanished one day and then suddenly some guy showed up who was exactly like me, but better, I mean, would you keep him? I'll take him.
On the next Mad About You.
Sunday at 11 on Channel 3.
Kids with asthma are riding bikes, playing sports, and going to school without being absent a lot. Find out how they do it. Call Lungline, a free service of the National Jewish Center for Immunology and Respiratory Medicine in Denver. A specially trained nurse will answer your questions about how you can help your child lead an active life despite asthma. Lungline, 1-800-222-LUNG. That's 1-800-222-LUNG.
On the next Pensacola Wings of Gold.
What she doesn't know won't hurt her.
Tracer must choose between playing around or playing for keeps.
You have to make a decision. You're either with me or you're not. It's that simple.
And Colonel Kelly heads a training mission.
One of you screws up and we all die.
That becomes the real thing.
Kill them. Down. Say we're not in Kansas anymore.
On the next Pensacola Wings of Gold.
Sunday at 11:30 on Channel 3.
In Northern California, a gas tanker rolls over and explodes into a ball of flames. An ocean of fire. That's how one eyewitness described the scene, as the inferno scorched the highway, making the roadway so hot it almost became mud.
We arrived on the scene within 5 minutes after the initial call came out. We were the first unit on the scene. We put the call out for fire. They responded real quick, and we're here within 5 to 7 minutes after our call.
Highway 50 is shut down as crews now work to put out the blaze.
The vehicle that was involved was a Benco tanker unit. It carried 8,800 gallons of fuel.
The first units on the scene were directed directly into the fire scene itself and immediately started to establish a wet line around the fire that had spread to the wildland to the north of the roadway.
Keeping the flames from spreading to the adjoining El Dorado National Forest was of primary concern for these fire personnel. An unchecked wildfire here would spell disaster.
We had approximately 1.5 to 2 acres above the roadway on the north side of Highway 50, and we had a half an acre below Highway 50 on the south side. Road closure right now is going to be approximately noon.
The flames devoured the tanker, yet fortunately, the driver suffered only a minor cut to his hand as he escaped the flipped-over vehicle. Finally, the fierce and red-hot flames that melted metal are doused. And Highway 50 is ready to be reopened after more than 6 hours, thanks to the hard work of these emergency teams. We'll return right after this brief break.
This show is brought to you by Cortisone 10. Powerful itch relief for the power to heal.
This winter, for itchy patches of dry skin, even eczema or psoriasis, remember the power of 10. Among these, only Cortisone 10 with aloe has a medicine to stop itch and help heal. Remember the power of 10. Cortisone 10.
Between brushing your teeth and brushing again, how can you help your teeth stay healthy? Easy. Stay with Crest, because Crest keeps working even between brushings. For hours. Always has. No wonder there are generations of Crest kids with healthy teeth. Crest keeps on working even between brushings to help give you healthy teeth for a lifetime. Behind that healthy smile, there's a Crest kid.
Your skin loses moisture every time you wash your face with soap. No matter how pure the soap claims to be. Dove is not a soap. In fact, Dove's famous 1/4 moisturizing lotion helps replenish and protect your skin's natural moisture, leaving you feeling softer, smoother, more like you.
If you love the complete relief of NyQuil to get you through your nights, you'll love its non-drowsy daytime version called DayQuil to get you through your days. Vicks DayQuil, the non-drowsy stuffy head, sore throat, coughing fever so you can get through your day medicine.
On the next emergency, a motorcyclist plummets down the side of a steep canyon. Next time on Emergency.
Sometimes when you hear him crying, you can't see him. Other times when you can see him, you can't pick him up. When you can pick him up, your legs might not work to get you there. Multiple sclerosis randomly attacks the nervous system, so you never know what life will be like from one day to the next. After 50 years of helping people with MS, we're closer than ever to a cure. Help us find it.
The land of the free.
It's a scam.
Home of the brave.
The check bounced.
And the people's court. Where justice is swift and sure.
You're lying.
Where real people argue real cases.
He was being a jerk.
And when two sides collide, Ed Koch decides.
That settles it.
No lawyers, no appeals.
And no waiting for reaction.
The all-new interactive People's Court with justice for all.
Weekdays at 9 on Channel 3.
And that's this edition of the show. Thanks for watching. Join us next time as we follow emergency crews in action. I'm Alex Payne.
Ice Sport. Cool, fresh, exhilarating. Deodorant and antiperspirant from Aquavelva.
New Viractin, a penetrating breakthrough for cold sores. Viractin penetrates to the core of the sore to work like no other medicine. New penetrating Viractin.
Oh, hi. Come on in. I want to tell you about a great new way to meet people. You use it by picking up your phone. Call right now. I think it'll be really good for you.
Sergeant, an old woman will pass this way with a cart. You are to arrest her at once.
Old woman, sir? She passed this way 5 minutes ago.
And you let her go? That was the Scarlet Pimpernel. Open the gates! Everything goes as planned.
Like clockwork, Percy.
Good. Well, best be on your way. It'll be dark soon. More than a night's ride to the coast.
Mademoiselle. This way, Countess.
Words cannot express our gratitude, monsieur.
It is the Scarlet Pimpernel, not I, who deserves your thanks, Countess.
I was certain that you were the Scarlet Pimpernel.
I would never presume to fill those shoes. I lack sufficient courage.
I have yet to meet a more courageous cavalier. Or a more handsome one.
Suzanne?
It's dangerous. We must hurry.
Thank you, monsieur.
You must be very much like your mother.
Oh, I'm an ugly duckling by comparison. They say she was the most beautiful bride in Paris.
Perhaps it is understandable, after all, that the brightest, the most radiant of women should marry an utter fool. When one recalls that he is also said to be the richest man in England.
I think you'd better leave. As you can see, I am quite busy.
I came to find out what you have decided to do about the Marquis de Saint-Cyr.
That's my affair, not yours.
No, it is my affair. As chief agent for the Committee of National Security, I want to know if you intend to do your duty as a citizen and report him.
And if I say no?
Then I am prepared to do it for you.
You gave me your word.
Marguerite. You force my hand.
You have betrayed my confidence.
It appears that we have both misjudged one another.
Visitors?
He needs his rest, poor little Mike. Can't you leave him be?
Shut up, wife. Here he is, Baron. King Louis's little brat, in the flesh. What's the matter? Your aristocratic sensibilities offended?
Are they treating you well, Your Royal Highness?
Well enough.
Get him up, Duval. Walk him around.
No, that won't be necessary. I've seen all I wish to see, thank you.
My dear Margaret.
Marquis, there are guards all over the place. Positioned here, 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 here. And this apartment here houses the couple who are looking after the Dauphin. So you see, it would be humanly impossible to get the young boy out of the place.
In the name of the Republic, open up! Open in the name of the Republic! Arrest them both.
What is the meaning of this?
I have an order for the arrest of the Marquis de Saint-Cyr.
One moment, Captain. One moment. I think you'd better have a look at this.
A certificate of immunity.
You are the Baron de Batz.
Precisely. Signed, as you can see, by Citizen Fouquet himself.
Release the Baron.
I demand to know the charge.
Treason.
Treason? Who accuses me of treason? I will have his name.
See for yourself. It's written on the warrant.
Marguerite Saint-Just? But I hardly know the woman.
I will.
I will.
I, Percy, take thee, Marguerite, to my wedded wife.
I, Marguerite, take thee, Percy, to my wedded husband.
With this ring, I thee wed. This gold and silver, I thee give. With my body, I thee worship. And with all my worldly goods, I thee endow. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Armand follows in a few days.
A few days? So soon?
Well, naturally. Chauvelin is anxious to assume his new post as special envoy.
Look out, Attorney. Tell me if you can that I'm not the most fortunate man alive.
How they buzz round her, like bees to honey.
Poor Louise. It seems we're all deserting you for England.
Well, I have asked her to come along and be my wife.
And give up a perfectly marvelous career. Don't you dare, my dear. He's not worth it.
What are you going to do about Citizen Robespierre's demand for action? The de Tourneys are lost to us.
I think I may have found an excellent replacement for the Count de Tournay. Perhaps even an improvement.
In Marguerite Saint-Just?
In the wife of Sir Percy Blakeney, Baronet. Every door in London will be open to her. Every confidence shared, every secret known. She isn't aware of it yet, François, but Lady Blakeney is going to lead me to our elusive friend, the Scarlet Pimpernel.
I've never seen her looking happy. As well she might. On the same day she marries the man she loves, has her revenge on the man she hates.
The man she hates, Baron?
The Marquis de Saint-Cyr, for what he did to her brother.
And what manner of revenge might she have had on the Marquis?
Having him arrested for treason, of course.
What leads you to believe that my wife was involved in this?
Oh, come, Sir Percy. You need have no pretenses with me. I saw the warrant for his arrest with my own eyes.
I don't believe it.
And your wife's name was on it. But you need have no fear on my account. After all, I am a man of extreme discretion.
Percy, don't. The man may go to the guillotine for this.
My dear Sir Percy, have you not heard? The Marquis de Saint-Cyr and his entire family were beheaded this very morning.
All of them? The children as well?
Well, yes. Sir Percy, I naturally assumed that you knew about this. I thought that... Excuse me.
I'm truly sorry. She must never know that I suspect any of this. We are about to embark upon the most dangerous mission yet. To save the heir of the throne of France. From this moment on, she must never be trusted. We cannot risk betrayal. I only pray to God that I can conceal from her the horror I feel at what she has done.
There's a good boy. Now, you take your medicine, say your prayers for the nice gentleman, then you can go back to bed.
What manner of medicine are you giving him?
Never fear, citizen. It's good, strong cognac.
Take it, boy. You know, it makes Papa Duval very angry if you don't finish every drop.
That is more like it. These gentlemen would like to hear you say your catechism. Your name?
Louis Charles Capet.
Let's hear it.
Louis Charles Capet.
Your age?
8.
Your nationality?
Citizen of the Republic of France.
Your father's name?
Louis Capet.
His profession?
Former king, tyrant and debaucher.
How did he perish?
By the will of the people.
Who was your mother?
Marie Antoinette of Austria.
Her profession?
Former queen and whore.
How did she perish?
By the will of the people.
And what do you say to their memories?
I spit upon their graves.
Again?
I spit upon their graves.
Again?
That'll do. However, I still detect a trace of defiance in those royal eyes. Keep at it, Fouquet. He must be all ours.
Cinque-Mare. What is the time? We should be monstrous late for His Highness's garden party.
I'm afraid I can't join you, Percy. I must get back to the embassy. Chauvelin is expecting me.
What news of the courier?
None.
Odd. You made inquiries.
It's too difficult. Chauvelin is becoming suspicious of everyone at the embassy, including me.
You have performed an invaluable service to us these past few months, Armand. Without you, we would not have had any idea as to the boy's fate.
When I think of what they're doing to that child, why? What do they hope to gain by it?
To render him useless to anyone who might try and rescue him. The time is running out. We must act soon, or they will succeed.
Have you a plan?
We wait only for the first news of any change in the boy's routine. That will be our signal to move. And move we must, swiftly and surely. That is why these communiques from Paris are so crucial. The next may be our signal. Ah, my dear, shall we?
The Duke and Duchess of Redmore. The Duke of Alderney and his daughters, Lady Brecon and Lady Darlington. Sir Percival and Lady Blakeney.
They say she only married him for his money.
No woman of title would have the idiotic fop. Still, they seem quite a happy couple.
Looks can be deceiving, my dear.
Percy, fashionably late as usual.
Cinque-Mare, Your Highness. 'Twas this damnable cravat. Simply refused to tie. I ask you, look at the thing. Sticking out like a pincushion.
I might have known it to be something serious.
My husband is being noble, Your Highness. I fear I am the one to blame.
Well, in that case, all is forgiven. Tell me, how fares our lovely fugitive from France?
Fugitive, Your Highness? Say rather captive.
Surely you're not kept here by force, madam.
Why, yes, indeed. By the force of my abiding love for my husband. And by Your Highness's good favor and generosity.
Gad, Percy, but I envy you. You'll have to keep an eye on her. Otherwise, I might exercise my droit de seigneur and steal her away.
Marguerite, Percy, you'll never guess. Andrew has asked me to marry him, and Papa has given his consent.
Cinque-Mare, if you didn't go and do it. Congratulations, old chap.
Oh, Suzanne, I'm so happy for you.
Suzanne, I forbid you to have anything to do with that woman.
Mama, what are you saying?
She has blood on her hands. We have just learned that she denounced the Marquis de Saint-Cyr and sent him and his entire family to the guillotine.
My dear Countess, you really must...
Can you deny that, Lady Blakeney?
I refuse to confirm or deny such accusations. This is no trial, and you are no judge.
True, madam. God will be your judge.
Will you say nothing, sir?
Faith, madam. What is there to say?
Will you not even defend your wife's honor?
God's fish, my dear. Would you have me challenge the poor Countess to a duel? What?
Come, Countess, the music is about to start. Please.
So, my dear, it would seem you finally found a way to repay Sarsia. After all.
Can you really believe that?
Can I believe otherwise?
Oh, Suzanne. What can I do? I've lost my husband's love and I don't know why. But Percy worships the ground you walk on. Once, perhaps. Paris. Now he plays the fool in private as well as in public. Always as if to torment me. There are times when I sense that he still loves me. Moments when I catch it in his eyes. A look, a glance. What have I done to deserve his disdain?
Good night, my dear. Pleasant dreams.
Stay with me tonight.
Long, madam. Far too fatigued. Besides, I have a very early appointment in London tomorrow. I'd only disturb you.
Your tailors, no doubt.
Bootmakers, to be precise. These pinch something monstrous, and I don't much care for the buckle.
Oh, Percy. What has become of you? Where is the man I married?
God's fishing, dear. You're looking at him.
No, what I see before me is a facade. The shell of a man I once knew. This is some absurd role you're playing. I don't know why. But I'm sure it is. Perhaps to keep the world at a distance. Only now you're shutting me out as well. You once promised me that I should come to know the man behind the mask. In time. I know him less now than I did then.
Perhaps there's no more to know.
I can't believe that. I refuse to believe it. The man I fell in love with still exists somewhere. I shall never stop loving him. Never.
Good night, my dear.
Here are some scenes from part 2 of The Scarlet Pimpernel.
Why aren't you the kind of man a woman can look up to?
You might try. Confided in me.
You deserve a man who can satisfy your desires. Help me learn the true identity of the Scarlet Pimpernel.
You asking me to spy for you?
For France.
If anyone's going to catch the Scarlet Pimpernel, it will not be Chauvelin.
broadcast of Front Row Features Monday through Friday evenings on Vermonti TV is funded in part by Waitsfield Cable, providing the Mad River Valley, and by Phoenix International Life Sciences Incorporated, headquartered in Montreal, a multi-service contract research organization serving the pharmaceutical industry. Front Row Features is also made possible by members like you.
You're watching Vermonti TV.
Broadcast of POV on Vermonti TV is brought to you in part by Champ 101.3, Imus in the Morning, classic rock and roll all day, and by viewers like you.
The Democracy Project.
POV, Independent Points of View from America's independent filmmakers. Next on POV.
Underdogs are what America is all about.
He's never held public office. He's never run a campaign. And if that weren't enough...
Is this what politics is all about?
He's taking on the Kennedys.
You come from Rhode Island.
Major funding for POV has been provided by the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation to increase public awareness of independent film and video, the National Endowment for the Arts, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and by annual financial support from viewers like you.
I think that most people are used to seeing political candidates from a certain point of view, and that point of view would be standing at the podium at a press conference or being crowded around by cameras and reporters answering questions. But we don't often get to see a candidate in the back room discussing their strategy. One thing that was difficult for me while making this film was capturing people's vulnerabilities, capturing people when they were down. And it's difficult for me to have my camera staring at people when they're at a really low point in their life or even in a day. And that was tough. But I think ultimately the story itself has an importance and has a message that supersedes those moments.
Education of a lifetime.
He was born in Brooklyn. He's got a BA in philosophy from Johns Hopkins. He played varsity football there. He's a graduate of Cornell Medical School. He interned at Yale, and he's now on the faculty at Brown and works with women with HIV. Dr. Vigilante, Steve White.
Good pleasure meeting you.
How old are you?
39.
39 years old. You've got one hell of a background for a guy your age.
Oh.
Worked your way through college.
Well, I took a lot of loans out, but a lot of it was working through college,
Good for
yeah.
you. A guy who is a doctor, and obviously a dedicated doctor, which you appear to be, to open up clinics in South Providence and to go and volunteer your time overseas helping poverty-stricken people. You know, I mean, anybody in their right mind would think 3 times about running again. Not Patrick Kennedy, the boy wonder,
And I said it, you didn't. But about Patrick Kennedy, the tremendous amount of political power and money behind that kid.
In the work I do, working in the inner city, working with people on welfare, working in the emergency room, seeing crime and all these things, day in, day out, you really get a sense of decay and things getting worse. And realizing that as a physician, you can only do so much, and reaching a certain point of frustration and saying, in order to change these things, you got to get involved.
Do you foresee this becoming down the road a dirty fight?
No.
Why? Because you're not going to.
I'm not going to make it dirty.
So how do you think the show went?
Good. Yeah, I felt good.
Well, there we go.
Hey, tonight's Seinfeld.
Oh, Jesus. I'm not watching that. I'm watching Primetime Live.
You can't miss Seinfeld.
We're trying to raise $100,000 in the next 30 days. And we're getting there. And, if you could make a contribution of $500, that would be great. I'm running for Congress in Rhode Island against Patrick Kennedy, and I had sent you some information on the race last week. And I'm running for Congress in Rhode Island against Patrick Kennedy.
If you'd like to make a call.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Okay, right, bye-bye. Boy.
What?
That was his, I couldn't understand what she was saying. That was her or him. He died in August. So,
He's dead.
It's the worst.
It was mid-August, and Tony Bennett was in Rhode Island to support Kevin Vigilante's opponent. After the concert, scores of Kennedy supporters congregated at a campaign fundraiser for the 26-year-old Patrick Kennedy. Each contributor would have an opportunity to be photographed with the candidate and Tony Bennett.
Patrick's going to go down in history. There isn't a house you go into that you don't see a picture of JFK. And after this year, there won't be a house that you go into that you don't see a picture of Patrick in it.
Who can fight and fight till he wins? Kennedy can. Kennedy can.
The year was 1968, 5 years after John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and Patrick's Uncle Bobby was running for president. Patrick was just a baby when RFK spoke at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. Before the night was over, the last of Patrick's uncles was assassinated. Patrick was now the youngest son of the last living Kennedy brother, Senator Edward Kennedy. Throughout his childhood, Patrick was a shy boy who was often thrust into the limelight along with his high-profile family. A chronic asthmatic, he was dogged by poor health. At age 20, a tumor was found in his spinal cord. Patrick Kennedy would undergo a serious operation, risking lifelong paralysis. The surgery was a success, and in the midst of a re-election year for Patrick's father, his release from the hospital became a media event.
It's been a great deal to my family to have so many people, thoughtful words and prayers while I've been here. It's meant a great deal to me. I'm looking forward to getting back.
While in the hospital, Patrick had privately told his father about his plans for the future. 2 months down the road, the 20-year-old Kennedy would declare his bid for a seat in the Rhode Island State House. Kennedy's primary opponent was five-term incumbent John Skeffington, an old-school Democrat who ran the neighborhood funeral parlor. On election day, Kennedy called upon his cousin John. Outside the polling station, the son of JFK posed with prospective voters, while a campaign worker snapped Polaroids. Each photo was then autographed, and the voter went inside to vote. Patrick won the neighborhood contest by a decisive 315 votes. The Kennedy campaign spent a record $93,000, or $78 per vote. Kennedy would quickly make a name for himself as a reformer who stood up to the party bosses. But controversy arose at Palm Beach with the William Kennedy Smith trial. for which both Patrick and his father were witnesses.
Well, certainly it's been a very difficult time for my family. And, you know, that's part of the thing of living in the public eye.
In the midst of the rape trial, reports surfaced that Patrick Kennedy had been treated for cocaine addiction in high school. Despite the controversy, Patrick was re-elected as a state representative and became known as a champion of gun control. In less than 2 years, he would run for U.S. Congress in a race against a doctor named Kevin Vigilante.
You just snorting or smoking, or?
Once in a while I'll smoke it, but I've been pretty much clean, you know.
How many times a week?
Oh, let me see, that maybe once every 2 weeks or something.
Really?
During the campaign, Kevin Vigilante planned to continue working a few hours each week at the inner-city clinic he founded.
Otherwise, you do it okay?
Well, I had 2 broken ribs.
When did you break your ribs?
A couple of weeks ago.
Did you go to the emergency room?
Yes.
How did you break your ribs?
I just broke them.
Just break them. Just one of these fights you're talking about? They hit you or broke your ribs? It's not the way. You shouldn't have to be in a situation like that. I mean, it sounds like you might be better off in a shelter. Well, you're not right. You're crying. It's very real. It's very concrete. The political world sometimes is not very concrete. It's very satisfying. Just to be able to stay in touch with it, you know?
Kevin Vigilante would not have time to see another patient for the rest of the campaign. It was the political event of the summer, Providence Mayor Buddy Cianci's Seniors Day.
Your friend, my friend, the mayor of the city of Providence, Vincent Buddy Cianci!
In 1984, Mayor Cianci was forced to resign when he pleaded no contest to charges that he assaulted his wife's alleged lover, beat him with a fireplace log and an ashtray, and burned him with a lit cigarette. Six years later, the voters of Providence would re-elect him as their mayor. While Mayor Cianci's Seniors Day festivities continued, politicians mingled with the state's most important vote. Rhode Island ranks 4th in the country for its percentage of senior citizens.
Burlington. Current temperature goes along with a westerly breeze at 5 miles an hour, relative humidity at 63%, and the pressure 30 inches on the dot and rising. Good time to set that home barometer if you've been meaning to get to that. The forecast for tomorrow, plenty of sunshine. We will see a few clouds in the afternoon, and there could be a sprinkle, especially if you have a mountain range or a hill range off to your south and west. That's the best chance of it. We'll see a few sprinkles maybe in Whitefield and Upton. Otherwise, sunshine and temperatures in the 60s. Pretty nice all in all. Along the coast, we'll be looking for more sunshine with just a few afternoon fair weather clouds, but it'll shake out mostly sunny. High temperatures in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. Warmest conditions once again right along the coastline. That northwesterly wind heating the air. Marine forecast, we still do have a little bit of choppy seas. It's causing the problems with that oil cleanup. Southwesterlies at 10 to 15 tonight, shifting into the west-northwest at 10 to 24 tomorrow. Seas of 3 to 6 feet and visibility over 5 miles. Here's the forecast. Mostly clear, bright and cool tonight. 39 in some of the sheltered valleys to the north, 47 at the coast. And for tomorrow, We'll be looking at mostly sunny skies to the south, a partly sunny day up to the north. They'll see a few more clouds up there, and they could even see a sprinkle, 64 to 69. In our extended outlook, it's not going to be as cool as I was thinking yesterday for Tuesday. It looks like 65 or so.
So a lot of different kind of weather today.
I saw a little bit of everything, and you're going to see that in the video coming up as well. Now, what we have here is a group from the Elder Hostel program. There's actually quite a few different activities here at the center. It's fairly well known for sculling, and in the winter, it's also a well-known cross-country ski center. It certainly felt like winter this morning, and photographer Joe Carroll and I braved the cold weather and went on a bicycle tour of the Northeast Kingdom. Stannard Mountain, October 3rd. Here in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont, it's not unheard of for winter to sort of cut in line and step on autumn's toes. It was an intimidating start to the day, but towards mid-morning, the winds settled back, the leaves dried off, and we even saw a few breaks of sunshine. It made us feel a lot better about our previously arranged plan to go on a bicycle tour. Okay. At the Craftsbury Center, you can rent a bike by the hour for a short, easy ride, or you can pedal all day up and down the mountains.
Just clicking. It's numbered, lets you know which gear you're in.
Which is easy. Bicycle tour guide Davis Sutherland showed us some of Craftsbury's best sights. Okay.
We have some family members with kids that are just starting to bike. And then we have a lot of older folks that are perhaps haven't done a lot of biking before, but they want to experience it a little bit, and they want to get out and get some exercise. And we have people that are into their 80s that come here to go on the biking and walking tours. People are always happy to be coming to where it's really beautiful and getting out of the cities and being surrounded by the countryside and a lot of the lakes and the trees and the farms, and they're usually in a very good mood.
When you're riding a bike, it's easy to find yourself only watching the pavement under your wheels, especially if you're going uphill. But if you do that, you'll miss the colors and vistas that surround you. People travel from all over the world to see our fall trees, and every year they make us proud. Well, as you can...
Weather is brought to you by Goss Tire, Vermont's #1 tire retailer with 7 convenient locations to serve your tire and service needs.
Well, we've certainly been seeing some wacky weather today, as you've been seeing, and most of the precipitation fell after midnight. Now, back in Burlington, we picked up about 1/3 of an inch of precipitation after midnight. Before midnight, just a trace. That is still below normal, but we caught up on that today, and for the year to date, we are still running above normal by more than 4 inches. On Lake Champlain tomorrow, it's going to be chilly from winds from the northwest at 10 to 15 knots. Waves out on the Broad Lake about 1 foot. Visibility will be unrestricted. The lake level 94.86 feet above sea level, and all this cold weather has dropped that water temperature another couple of degrees. On top of Mount Mansfield, the high temperature is 50, the low 21, the present temperature 22, and they've picked up a trace of snow in the past 24 hours, and they are still seeing some flurries now. Well, what a difference a day makes. Temperatures yesterday were generally in the 60s and in the 70s. Today, mainly in the 30s and 40s. 34 being reported in Lake Placid, 37 in Malone. The only so-called warm spots, Bennington at 50 and Brattleboro at 53. It's the same story around the rest of the Northeast. Lots of 30s and 40s around. Only 50s are down in southern New England and New York City. It is going to be much colder tonight than it was last night. Now, the low last night was 40 degrees. That's just a few degrees below the average, and a record low of 28 was set in 1911. Our high today, well, that 61 degrees was at midnight. The afternoon high was just 43. A record high of 82 was set in 1891. Currently back in Burlington under mostly cloudy skies. The temperature is 42 degrees. The dew point is 24. Barometric pressure is rising. Those winds are from the northwest at 12 miles per hour, giving us a wind chill of 29 degrees. Sunrise tomorrow morning will be at 6:54 and sunset at 6:27.
Where do you go when your struts need repair? Boing, boing. Or when your brakes need to be replaced? Or what if your front end needs to be aligned? Wobble, wobble. Quality service from Goss Tire. Your family safety depends on it. With 7 locations, Vermont's #1 tire retailer has been your #1 choice for service for over 99 years. So to keep your car running smoothly, vroom, vroom, turn into a Goss Tire near you.
So much more than just a tire store.
Well, that wicked cold front that changed our seasons overnight came through with a few showers, and some of those, as we saw, were rain showers, and some changed to snow showers over some of the higher elevations in the north. Now, the clouds are still clinging stubbornly to the skies over the northeast, but we expect them to start melting away, and once those skies clear out and the winds die down, we're going to see our temperatures get colder than they've been all season. Except for some rain down in Florida and the Gulf Coast, most of the rest of the country saw a pretty dry day. Now, the coldest of this Arctic air is over the Great Lakes right now. Minneapolis set a new record low last night with a low temperature of 26 degrees. Our record low here in Burlington for the 4th of October is 27, and we stand a chance of breaking that record by tomorrow morning. The Arctic high pressure will continue to build into the northeast tomorrow as long as we stay on the east side of the high. We'll continue to get cold air coming down from the clockwise circulation around the high pressure system, but on the other side of the high, temperatures will be warming up, and we'll start getting into that warmer air by the weekend. Tonight, we're expecting a widespread frost throughout the state as temperatures drop down into the 20s for lows. It will still be on the chilly side tomorrow throughout the northeast, but temperatures out west are warming right up, and some of that warmer air will work its way in our direction over the next few days. Well, the forecast then for tonight, there is a frost warning in effect tonight. Anything that you've got out in the garden is likely to go. It's going to become clear, and it's going to be cold with widespread frost. The overnight lows will be in the 20s. For tomorrow, it's going to be mostly sunny and cool. High temperatures will be in the 40s. For Friday night, another frost warning. Clear, calm, and cold. Overnight lows will be in the 20s once again. And on Saturday, it's going to be mostly sunny, just a smidgen warmer. High temperatures will be in the low 50s, and the extended outlook for the beginning of next week. We'll see a lot of sunshine. High temperatures will begin climbing through the 50s, and by the middle of the week, we'll see the temperatures getting back up into the upper 50s and low 60s. And after today, Marcellus, that's going to feel downright balmy, I think.
Yeah, didn't you say did I catch that the wind chill was around 29 degrees?
That's right, and that's current, and it certainly felt cooler than that with the winds blowing this morning. We were in a little miniature squall there on Standard Mountain this morning, and it felt like the middle of winter.
I'll bet it looked like winter. Everybody getting some warm food in the background there now? Lots of tourists?
It's definitely cozy here. The elder Huxels are having dinner, a nice roast beef dinner, and they're going to be having dessert, and I think they have plans to have a dance later on tonight.
Oh, that'll warm things up. That's great.
I think so.
Thank you. Sharon Meyer with Joe Carroll in Craftsbury, Vermont on the Foliage Tour. We look forward to another one next week. Coming up next on the Channel 3 News, state Senate candidates are going a few rounds on the issues in Burlington.
Other highly skilled training. So I'm going to fight to preserve student loan programs because I want to make sure that money's not a barrier to your getting the kind of education that you need to get a good job once you graduate.
Susan Collins for Senator.
The Winston Cup Circuit raced at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina this afternoon for the final time. Of course, North Wilkesboro's loss is Loudon's gain. This is the event New Hampshire Speedway gets next year as its second Winston Cup race. Now picking up on the final lap of the Tyson Holly Farms 400. You've seen this car in front before. That's number 24, Jeff Gordon, who wins for the 10th time this season. Dale Earnhardt finished in second. Maine's Ricky Craven, who started 20th, finished 22nd. And good chance this will be the week we officially hear Craven will jump to the Hendrick team to drive the number 25 car next year. Stay tuned. Well, starting this Friday on the road, then Saturday at home at the Civic Center, the tradition continues for the Portland Pirates. Now, it's not too many teams in just their fourth year which can claim a tradition. Then again, it's not many teams that reach the League Championship Series in 2 of their first 3 years.
I really think that we've started a great tradition here, and the fans are a big part of that. They've been coming out and helping us, and we just hope it can continue. I hope the fan support stays there. They stuck with us when we stumbled our way around last year, but we were able to turn it around. And again, the fans have been great. They're part of this tradition, and hopefully the players realize that Barry and I want to continue to keep this tradition going.
Again, the Pirates' home opener is this coming Saturday against Worcester. Now, if you like great golf shots, check out this gem from the LPGA tournament down in Charlotte, North Carolina. Cindy Haley with a 4-iron on the par 3 13th hole. Turns out to be a lucky 13 for Cindy, right into the cup. And folks, that is what you call a hole-in-one. And finally, back to football for a second. The brand new Associated Press College Top 20 poll has a slight twist among the elite. Ohio State goes from 4th to 3rd, replacing Penn State, which drops back to 4th. And that's despite the fact both teams won yesterday. We will see if the move has warranted this Saturday when Ohio State plays Penn State, Florida, and Florida State remain 1 and 2.
The Pirates already, wow.
Can you believe it? Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately I can. All right, thank you, Steve. And when we come back, Paris and Portland with Lou McNally will explain.
Is your drain clogged? The perfect solution. Very reliable. Clears the toughest clogs. Count on it. Professional strength. Liquid Plumber. It's the strongest clog remover, so it works time after time. Liquid Plumber, the only plumber you need.
Maybe you've always seen yourself in a new Jeep Cherokee Sport with a 190 horsepower engine, no charge air, and driver's airbag. But maybe you've never seen one fitting into your budget. So maybe you'll be surprised to see for 0 down and $279 monthly, 1 can. The easy-to-lease Jeep Cherokee Sport. Now, if you can see it in your head, you can see it in your driveway.
See your New England Jeep and Eagle dealers.
When you see news happening, dial star 08 on your main wireless telephone.
Dodge Ram has won a lot of awards from a lot of experts, from a lot of magazines. But according to a survey of new vehicle owners by Strategic Vision, Ram is also winner of the Total Quality Award for Best Owner Experience in its class for the 2nd year in a row. An award from the most important truck experts of all, the people who make the payments.
See your friendly New England Dodge dealer today.
New England Journal with Bob Dyke.
First of all, we'll give some of you a chance to say, ooh, how cute.
Weekdays on today's Channel 8 News.
It's time again for the Freiburg Fair, an old-fashioned country fair with something for everyone. Sunday, September 29th through October 6th in Freiburg, Maine.
With Plymouth Neon, 4-door or coupe, you get room for 5, fun to drive, and one other thing, a low starting price. At Chrysler Plymouth New England, we'll show you what's new.
How about a trip to Paris? Picasso's Paris, that is, at the Portland Museum of Art. The halls of the Portland Museum drastically changed to a Parisian street scene with everything from musicians, sidewalk artists, fresh flowers and pastries. Last night's event, a gala dance sponsored by Channel 8 and hosted by our very own meteorologist Lou McNally. The museum hoping to raise money by raffling off some pretty exciting items, artwork by the late Betty Noyes, a brooch worth over $1,500 and a trip for 2 to Paris. And finally tonight, it took him over a year to do it, but a sailor's dream has come true. 20-year-old Brian B.J. Caldwell has sailed around the world. He returned to Hawaii after making the solo voyage in his 26-foot boat. The courageous journey began way back in June of last year. It took him, if you're counting, 485 days to go all the way around the world. Wow. Steve, you get cool. Going from Portland to Peaks in your...
in my little kayak.
All right, well, that is going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for watching. Be sure to join us again at 11. We will have the very latest on the oil spill in Portland Harbor, and we'll tell you what you need to know about the traffic situation first thing tomorrow. Until then, have a good evening.
Once upon a year, there were 3 little houses. The first little house used electricity for its heating, hot water, cooking, and clothes drying. The second little house used oil for heating and electricity for everything else. The third little house was the smartest and chose natural gas for its energy needs. For more, switch to natural gas. It's the best energy value for your little house.
A brand new winter is coming. And 42 exciting new 1997 Polaris snowmobiles are already here. More choices with more power, great handling, the best ride plus great deals if you buy your Polaris in September, like up to $650 free clothing and accessories. No interest or payments until February 1997. Free extended engine service and more. So hurry to your participating Polaris dealer for more details before September ends.
What's important to America's families?
You can't do anything without an education these days, but how do you pay for it? That's what I worry about.
And where do the candidates stand? Tom Allen opposes cuts in college loans and wants to maintain federal education funding. Congressman Jim Longley voted to cut college loans by $10 billion and voted to cut billions more in education funding. When it comes to education, there is a difference. Call and find out.
More than Ford owners love their Tauruses. More than Nissan owners love their Maximas. More than anyone else in the class loves their cars. That's how much Dodge owners love their Intrepids. Dodge Intrepid, #1 in Strategic Vision's 1996 Total Quality Index in class.
See your friendly New England Dodge dealer today.
The Rosie O'Donnell Show, weekdays at 4 on today's Channel 8.
President Clinton calls an emergency summit in Washington to calm the violence in the Mideast. Counting to 270, could Bob Dole win the election? And a journey across a generation. Tonight, gay men breaking tradition by embracing tradition.
From ABC, this is World News Sunday. Here's Carol Simpson.
Good evening. In Jerusalem, a potentially explosive day has ended without incident. After closing for 2 days in observance of the Sabbath, the tunnel that set off last week's violence was reopened this morning. There was some sporadic stone throwing by protesters, but police were able to keep the situation from spiraling out of control. The big news of the day came out of Washington, where President Clinton announced that an emergency Mideast summit will be held in Washington this week. Here's ABC's David Ensor.
After 5 days and nights of frantic U.S. diplomacy, it still took a public invitation from the president to get the Israeli and Palestinian leaders to agree to meet face to face.
I'm prepared to do everything in my power to help the Israelis and the Palestinians end the violence and begin the peace process again in earnest.
Mr. Clinton also invited Jordan's King Hussein, who accepted, and Egypt's President Mubarak, who is thinking about it. The president issued the invitations after Palestinian Chairman Yasser Arafat refused to meet one-on-one in Israel with the Israeli Prime Minister.
We wanted to see full participation in order to put the peace process back on track and to rescue it from unilateral actions.
I'm prepared to negotiate the peace. I think Chairman Arafat has to be prepared to shoulder his responsibility not to engage in violence and not to allow his police, his armed police, to shoot at Israeli soldiers.
With 56 Palestinians and 14 Israelis dead and hundreds more wounded, the Israelis want Arafat to control his forces. The Palestinians want Netanyahu to continue the peace process started by the previous Israeli government and to order the long overdue withdrawal of Israeli forces from the West Bank town of Hebron. American diplomats will be satisfied if they can just stop the fighting and start the talking.
I would caution against having too high expectations for it. The parties are really quite estranged and raw because of all of the deaths and wounding.
Calling a high-profile Middle East summit just 5 weeks before the presidential election could be politically risky for President Clinton, but his aides say that the risk of not getting the parties together quickly is even greater, and they refuse to meet until the president put his prestige on the line. David Ensor, ABC News, the State Department.
The president had a busy day on the phone. He spoke for 10 minutes each with Arafat and Netanyahu. But cordial conversations can't hide the risks in Mideast peace negotiations. A short time ago, I spoke with Middle East analyst and ABC News consultant Judith Kipper and asked her what was at stake for all sides involved.
This is a big stake game for the leaders in the Middle East. Clearly for Prime Minister Netanyahu, who is very conservative, believes in the use of force, he has to come out with something concrete so that he can sell it to his constituents who do not support 242 land for peace. For Yasser Arafat, clearly, he has to also come out with something concrete that will stop the confrontation between Israelis and Palestinians and show that, in fact, the peace process can move forward. The problem, of course, is that tension is so high that neither of these leaders may be able to control the street.
What about President Clinton? He gets a chance to play world leader on the world stage. Won't this be a political boost at election time?
It is certainly the act of a statesman to have convened these leaders at the White House. But for President Clinton, it is also very risky because something concrete that can actually be implemented in the region has to come out of this. This is not just a diplomatic encounter. The blood has been spilled, people have been killed, and when the President of the United States steps in between the parties, there better be a positive result that stops the confrontation.
Thank you very much, Judith Kipper, ABC News Mideast consultant. In Israel, the latest violence is opening old political wounds. That story when we come back. Later on World News Sunday, presidential politics and dueling strategies. And anger sweeps across Black America amid charges the government had a hand in bringing crack to the inner city.
This is World News Sunday, brought to you by Just for Men.
When I got rid of my gray hair, I wanted a natural look, so I didn't take any chances. I used the sure thing for a natural look called Just for Men.
Apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. It's specially timed to blend away gray, bring back your natural look, and condition hair.
It's a sure thing.
Just for Men, the sure thing for a natural look. And now try Just for Men Color Gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out. Just 5 minutes.
Claritin.
You've got to ask your doctor about Claritin.
It's time you experience Claritin. Ask your doctor for a prescription.
I did.
Clear days and nights are here. Ask your doctor about Claritin today and call 1-800-CLARITIN.
With hemorrhoids, sitting can be torture. But Hemorrhoid has a pain reliever that works on contact. Preparation H doesn't. Hemorrhoid shrinks swelling and relieves burn and itch. It's complete enough to tame the toughest seat. Only Hemorrhoid is this complete.
At the root of this week's Israeli-Palestinian conflict is an ancient tunnel. It may be difficult for most outsiders to understand how the place could incite such violence. But like so many other landmarks that have divided these two cultures, this one cuts through the many layers of the region's religious history. Originally an aqueduct, the tunnel was built by the Romans 2,000 years ago. Approximately 500 yards long, it passes from the western wall under the Muslim quarter to the Via Dolorosa. Although it was discovered by archaeologists in the last century, it wasn't until 1968 that the Israeli government began excavating the site. The tunnel was finally opened to tourists in 1987, but its only entrance was at one end of the western wall. Last Monday night, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered the passageway opened at the other end to accommodate more tourists, and he invited the Islamic Authority to view it. But Tuesday, Palestinian President Yasser Arafat called for a general strike and demonstrations. Palestinians then began throwing rocks, igniting the violence. Netanyahu's opponents have always warned that the peace process would be jeopardized by his election. But as Israelis attended funerals today, many were asking if this is what they expected to happen just 3 months into his administration. ABC's Hillary Brown is in Jerusalem.
Israelis continue to bury their dead from a terrible week of violence. Here, a young border policeman is laid to rest, killed on Friday when his post was attacked by Palestinian demonstrators. But among the mourners are people who blame the Israeli government for his death.
I think that the Netanyahu government, actually by its movement, pushing the situation here into war, and during war people are dying on both sides.
Today, several thousand people marched from the grave of the former Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, the architect of the peace accord with the Palestinians, to the new Prime Minister's office, calling for his resignation.
I think it's tragic to see how quickly what took so long and so much patience to build can be destroyed.
A former member of the ruling Likud party agrees.
Yes, he destroyed the peace process. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Netanyahu's supporters say the peace accord with the Palestinians gave them too much, notably the right to an armed police force that has turned its guns on Israelis. They, too, are demonstrating outside the Prime Minister's office.
And we tell them, we are behind you. You fight them, we are giving you all the credit.
On both sides of the divide, there's a deep fear of another wave of violence and more Israeli dead. If that happens, many believe there could be a public outcry for a government of national unity.
And what is being talked about in political Jerusalem is to broaden the government, bring back the Labour Party, bring back Mr. Perez, who knew how to handle the negotiations.
But that's far from the minds of demonstrators outside Netanyahu's office tonight as they shout, "Bibi, the nation is with you." In the election that brought Netanyahu to power 100 days ago, Israelis were split down the middle over the peace accord with the Palestinians. After the mayhem of the past week, they're even more polarized. Hillary Brown, ABC News, Jerusalem.
In other news in the region, people in Kabul, Afghanistan are adjusting to life under Muslim law. Islamic rebels who took control of the government this week have ordered women to cover themselves completely in public. And today, all male government workers were ordered to grow beards within 6 weeks or face punishment. And we'll be right back.
I'm 62. Can I still help prevent osteoporosis?
It's never too late for Caltrate. Caltrate Plus has the extra calcium you need, plus 6 nutrients essential for healthy bones, whatever your age.
It's never too late for Caltrate.
Corporations are changing more than ever before. But no matter where people figure in your company's future, we'll have the furniture that configures to your people. Hayworth, furniture for what's next.
Introducing the perfect recipe for all those times when you have no time. Campbell's creamy one-dish chicken and rice bake recipe, made with our cream of mushroom soup. It's incredibly easy since everything cooks together at one time in one dish. So now, even on the busiest, most hectic days, you can still make a delicious homemade meal that the whole family, even Mom, can enjoy. Campbell's creamy one-dish chicken and rice bake recipe. Campbell's makes everything.
Morning, Tom.
Oh, Tom, does this match?
Well, I relax, Tom.
Four options. Best step?
Slacks, jackets, vests.
Everything matches. All the brown stuff goes together.
All the black stuff goes together.
You mean I could look like you guys?
Gee, Tom, we're highly paid fashion models.
But you could dress like us. Cool.
Know your options. Options by Stafford, only at JCPenney. When it comes to business casual, you've got options. Options by Stafford.
Dear Robert, you know I've had trouble sleeping, so I took your advice and got Unisom. It felt good to hear the pharmacist say it's not habit-forming, and even better after getting a wonderful night's sleep.
Thanks to you. Love, Mom.
It wasn't just Israel on the president's mind today. He's back in Washington after a successful campaign swing through the Northeast and Texas. ABC's Jerry King was traveling with the president.
What intrigues political analysts is not so much how well Mr. Clinton is doing in the polls, it's where.
Hello, Fort Worth.
In presidential terms, Texas has been Republican country for nearly 3 decades. This year, it's up for grabs. And polls suggest the Democrats have a legitimate shot at Indiana, South Dakota, Alabama, Virginia, Florida. And in Arizona, where no Democrat has won in almost 50 years, Mr. Clinton is comfortably ahead.
We've never seen this before. These are states that automatically have gone Republican in recent elections.
In an echo of the '92 campaign, but this time in Texas, Mr. Clinton is being portrayed as the comeback kid, overcoming what once seemed a formidable Dole lead.
I would suggest that at no point in history has a candidate who's blown a 16-point lead in Texas ever ended up carrying the election in November.
But in places where the race is not a statistical dead heat,